Primary duty of any state is to give justice and maintain law and order. Indian government during last 60 years of independence has manufactured bread, pencil and all other things other than giving justice and maintaining law and order. At each and every step we see the failure of the government. In December 1984 in Madhya Pradesh, Bhopal, there was the world's worst industrial disaster in which methyl isocyanate was released from a pesticide plant of Union Carbide, in which instantly 3,000 people died, and over a period of time more than 25,000 people died because of the effects of that gas. It has affected more than 500,000 people. It took about 26 years for Indian judicial system to convict 7 people for the crime committed way back in 1984, and the judgment came in 2010, in which about 7 people were convicted and sent to imprisonment for 2 years, and that too for killing about 25,000 people. It took the wealth and power of a multinational corporation to subvert the justice at each and every step. They paid around $500 for each dead body in Bhopal. And the parent company of Union Carbide, Dow Chemicals, had the guts in 2002 to say that $500 is pretty good for an Indian. Not mine and have problem with Dow Chemicals. They may think and do whatever they may feel it's right. But I have the problem with the Indians who are at the position of power have sold its poor citizens for less than $500 and call themselves as the great leaders of the country. Disaster struck whole 6 months before 3rd December 1984. There was a series of reports in Jansatta in Bhopal that Union Carbide plant was unsafe and Bhopal was sitting on a volcano, and they were warning of the similar disaster that's going to happen. Then Chief Minister of Bhopal, Arjun Singh, said in the State Assembly that there was no such thing. It was all hysterical media reporting and plant was perfectly safe. And within 6 months of this statement, Bhopal gas tragedy occurs. The aftermath of accident is even more tragic than the accident itself. The Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh, Arjun Singh, and then Prime Minister of India, Rajiv Gandhi, the chairman of Union Carbide, Warren Anderson, who came to India, he was arrested for 4 hours and then released on the orders of the Chief Minister and the Prime Minister of India. And he escaped the law, never to face justice for 26 years, and he's living a normal life in New York. The whole tragedy is that the person who allowed Warren Anderson to escape to US, Arjun Singh, was till 2008 on the empowered group of ministers in the Union Council of India to preside over Bhopal gas tragedy. Besides the political failure, there was a huge amount of judicial failure as well. First, it took 26 years to give justice. Then the Supreme Court of India failed in its duty to the people of India to give justice. Against Union Carbide was diluted by 3 Supreme Court judges, R.S. Pathak, Rangnath Mishra and A.H. Ahmadi. R.S. Pathak in 1989 decided that the compensation for Bhopal gas victims would be not more than $470 million. And he arrived at these figures on the basis of 300 persons injury. And nobody opposed it because he was a Supreme Court judge. As soon as he retired from the Supreme Court, within 3 months, he was appointed as the judge of International Court of Justice in Hague. Then Chief Justice of India in 1996, A.H. Ahmadi, he watered down the criminal charges against Union Carbide. There was a case of culpable homicide not amounting to murder. He watered it down to the case of negligence, and because of that The officials of Union Carbide escaped the punishment from 10 years of imprisonment to 2 years of imprisonment. And as soon as A.H. Ahmedi retired from Supreme Court of India, he was appointed as the lifetime chairman of Bhopal Memorial Hospital Trust, which was set up at the orders of the Supreme Court by Union Carbide, a 500-bed multi-speciality hospital, and it has a trust fund worth more than 600 crore rupees or $87 million, for which how the money is spent, where it is spent, there is no public accountability for this trust. And he became the chairman for life.
$20,000 deaths, sir. These people are looking for some sort of retributive, justice from the judiciary system.
What you are saying is, you see, it is more a question of revenge. It's not a question of justice. They want that send them to jail and, for a longer term.
Bhopal gas tragedy is just not one-off incidents. It's the instance of collective government failure. Why is it that our police, our judiciary, our government doesn't function properly the way it should? The way the state must work, it never works. It is always subverted by some or other means. Main logic and reason people give for this current state of affairs is that we are a poor country. We do not have the resources to have a proper judiciary or the police or whatever. But I do not agree. I give you an example of South Korea. Way back in 1953, South Korea was much more poorer than India. Now, South Korean economy is bigger than India's economy. It's a developed country. You hear about the companies like Samsung, Hyundai. South Korea area is less than 1 lakh square kilometer with a population of 50 million, which is 5 crore. And its economy is bigger than that of India. Till 1953, South Korea and North Korea were having a war, and it was poorer than India. And 2010, we see it having an economy bigger than that of India with 50 million people and a developed country. So it's not about we are poor, it's about poor governance that India has received during last 60 years of independence. The political leaders in India, they didn't had any vision. We may think greatly of them, but if they had the vision, we wouldn't have been a poor country. South Korea area is less than 1 lakh square kilometer with a population of 50 million, which is 5 crore. And its economy is bigger than that of India. Till 1953, South Korea and North Korea were having a war, and it was poorer than India. And 2010, we see it having an economy bigger than that of India with 50 million people and a developed country. So it's not about we are poor, it's about poor governance that India has received during last 60 years of independence. The political leaders in India, they didn't had any vision. We may think greatly of them, but if they had the vision, we wouldn't have been a poor country. Can't all the roads in India have a name? Melbourne, with a population of only around 4 million people, has a map which is worth more than 600 pages. They call it Melway. In India, Bombay, Delhi has a population of more than 15 million, and you don't even have a map book which is more than about 10 pages. How much does it require to name all the streets? I don't think it would cost that much. But the benefits it would give to the people is enormous. Judicial reforms. Why does it take about 25 or 50 years for our judiciary to give any decision? Why can't a decision come within 1 year or 2 years? Why are people too afraid to go to a police or to go to a court? Like way back till 1999, telephone was considered as a luxury. You liberalized it. Now it comes with a pack of washing powder, and more than 500 million people own telephones. Why can't we have a judicial reform like what we had in telecom sector?